And we are live and we are back. Let's go. I'm Cory, your host, one half of the Court and Full of Fat podcast. And I'm back like I never left with another installment of Wealth Wednesdays here. On the Court and Full of Fat podcast, we discuss health and wealth, finance, fitness, and everything in between. We want to make sure you save more and save less and keep making better your best. Yes, yes. However, when my co-host Jordan went on paternity leave, we started these Wealth Wednesdays where I get straight to the financial information, no filler in between. And I know y'all see the topic of today's video, the is it a good thing or a bad thing? Was infamous. There we go. The infamous. There we go. My word I was looking for. The infamous housing market. We're going to get into what the outlook looks like going forward for this next quarter and what we can expect and, predictions, things of that nature. But before we get started, make sure that like button, share, and subscribe. Shout out to YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. My information, as well as my coach Jordan information, can be found on the show notes on YouTube. I'm silent_Cory, and Jordan is Stop Stalling J for our social media. And then Jordan's website is FinallyFit.live, where you can sign up for the 5:30 a.m. Monday and Wednesday virtual training sessions. All right. And I know y'all seen if you've seen this, see this thumbnail, see the last thumbnails I've updated the banner working on now that my son is here, getting back on the schedule, working on improving things on the YouTube side. That was the goal for this year, but then we got pregnant at the very beginning of this year. So that kind of got waxed. But now that we're out of that and getting back on the schedule, we are gonna go back into ramping up some of the overall quality of these episodes. These Wealth Wednesdays, when we do the joint ones, health and wealth, for the CNFE episodes, everything, working on making everything better. And in theory, hopefully the guests show up next year. We're over 100 episodes in. How many hours? We're almost 3 years in of these guests. The list is there. People have been contacted. They've said, okay, we just haven't scheduled it yet. So we got to get on a schedule for that. But before we get started again, don't sue me, sue your mama. This is for entertainment purposes only. Myself, no more co-host Jordan, or finance or fitness professionals. Everything you hear is for entertainment purposes only, and you need to seek your own professionals and do your own research before taking any action. All right. Now, shout out to the student loans. So maybe I'll do another. Well, I'll do another live stream. I think I use all the links on the last live stream for the student loans. I don't even know how many websites I can go to, but student loans, hey, they just started again. They just started back up again this month. It's been 17 days now, 18 days, however you want to look at it. So not too much yet. But as the months go on, we start to see the impact on these student loans starting back up and what they do to the economy. It's going to be very, very interesting. All right. And then I'm going to do this, I think, either once a month or once a quarter. Once a month might be too soon. But we're going to start looking at these car payments every time. Looked at it last time. It was $725 for new and like $550 or something like that for used. But maybe every month or so, beginning of the month, I'm going to look at the car payments, pull them up, and see how much they continue to go up year over year, year over year too, but month over month. All right. And also, last thing too, before we get started, it is coming towards the end of the year, which means I got to do an episode about all the updates, 401k increases, IRA, all that type of stuff, tax brackets, all that stuff. A lot of other people do it early in the year. I think it more sense to do it at the very end of the year, because even though, you start preparing for next year, before you get to next year, we still have the last quarter of this year. I mean, my goodness, dropping. As soon as information drops, why would I do something, a video in early October, late September? So you still got the rest of this year, to get through. So when we get towards the end of the year, we're going to do that episode again where we show you all how to prepare for 2024. All right. Now let's get into it. Current state of the housing market. We're going to go to, I think this is good old faithful is CNBC, but I think second place is going to be Bankrate. I think when I see one of those two articles, it's hard for me not to choose them. And today I decided between a Bankrate article and a CNBC article, but I went Bankrate today. All right. Now, here we go. 2023, fourth quarter housing trends, slow sales, high rates, and prices. Now, as you know about real estate, it's location, location, location. So I'm not sure if this is going to be location-based or just for the entire nation. If you're in Maryland, prices are not going down. I think they're up 2.5 last quarter. So, hey, take it how you want. Eat the meat, spell out the bone for this article based on your particular area that you live in, or at least where you're looking to buy a house. All right, this is going to be written by Eric J. Martin and edited by Michelle Petrie. I think I lucked out this time on the names. All right, here we go. Key takeaways: housing market traditionally slows down the fourth quarter, right? We come to the winter time. Usually houses sell less. They sell more in the summer. One, because it's colder, but also two, colder in the winter, not in summer, but colder. And then people are in school. A lot of parents don't want to move their children right in the middle of the school year. Obviously, spring, summer, right? School's getting over and it's warmer. Move during that time. And also, too, moving like outside in the cold, not the move, pun intended. Experts predict high prices and high mortgage rates will continue to hamper home buyers through the end of the year. Oh, really? What about inflation? We're gonna talk about inflation in here. The ongoing housing shortage makes the market even more challenging for prospective buyers. All right, here we go. We have tagged third base and are heading for home. Is that a metaphor for the fact that year's closing out? Excuse me. Hopefully, a home purchase or sale, that is. What? We have tagged third base and are heading for home. Hopefully, a home purchase or sale, that is. What? We've completed the first 3 quarters of the year. No, I don't understand that. And maybe I'm just slow right now. I'm tired from work. And begin the fourth quarter four, time when housing activity, right? Okay, slows down. Mortgage interest rates continue. Yes, the Fed, one thing the Fed is doing, inflation is, look, shout out to inflation, shout out to these mortgage interest rates and what the Fed is doing with those rates. They getting hiked. If you don't know what a Fed rate hike is, they've been increasing the hell out these rates over, I guess, last year or so now, maybe. Technically might consider 2 years, but over the last year or so. All right, they continue to increase for home purchases and makes that a reach for prospective buyers, and that problem has only become worse throughout the year. Consider the average 30-year mortgage rate in the quarter one was about 6.48. Ooh, it's about 1% higher now. Ooh, versus the up 7 point. Oh, it's a little over, almost 1.5%. Sheesh. My goodness. At the 7.8 beginning of quarter four, according to bank rate, and prices are also high. Are prices high or are they not fall? I mean, housing market continues to increase. So you got to be careful what you wish for. If you want your home to increase in value, in general, you need the housing market to increase in value. But then also, if you end up wanting to move / sell your house, well, houses continue to increase in value. You're going to have to, quote unquote, buy a bigger house. Then on top of that, if you can't wait for interest rates to fall and you got extremely low interest rates, something below 3%, well, that's, as low essentially as it can get. So by definition, as time goes on, interest rates will only get higher. All right. So you got to be careful what you wish for. All right. National median home price in August is the median, not the average. Median is usually lower than average. The median home price was $407,000. My goodness. According to the National Association of Realtors, a 3.9% year-over-year increase and not far off from the NAR's, which is National Association of Realtors, record high of $413,800. I wonder what year that was. Or it's almost 415. Curious where the housing market is headed during the remaining months of the year. Yes, who isn't? All right, here we go. What to expect coming up towards the end of the year. October and December marks quarter four of 2023. History is in the guide. We'll see a deceleration in the real estate market over the next 3 months. Seasonally, the fourth quarter tends to be right on the slow side, limited inventory. Okay, no further control. Okay, real estate transactions, got it. All right. It's not hard to figure out why a lot of this has to do with the holiday season. Okay, here we go. People are usually more focused on family and festives than buying or selling homes. Sure, we are. I mean, you got technically really only 2 holidays or a month apart, Thanksgiving and December. Halloween is obviously this year, Halloween is a holiday. It's not a holiday since we don't get off. But from September to February, we have a federal holiday every month. So it's that time of year, and then some parts of the, say, roughly half. Well, it did snow in Texas a couple of years ago, right during the pandemic, but roughly, probably, I would say, over half of the country sees some type of snow, that impacts travel, schools closed, things like that. Okay, Vivek Saul, director of the Burns School of Real Estate and Construction Management, University of Denver, sees the next 3 months being much the same as the past 4 quarters, if not a little more so due to the current economic climate. Okay, the market's going to be sluggish due to high interest rates. Okay, see, they say the market's going to be sluggish due to high interest rates, but we still see the home prices, the value of homes increasing, which ensure is going to make it even harder as well. Because if home prices are increasing and interest rates are increasing, you need even more money to offset that increase from an interest rate standpoint when it comes to your minimum payment. All right. Adding fall and winter seasonality. There we go. That's probably the first time I've ever seen that word actually spelled out. Housing market demand will be further diminished time. Okay. However, given the economic volatility we've seen this year, Sure, Shivik. Ooh, that's struggling. Says quarter three for 2023 could be surprised. Remote work is reshaping housing demands, and we are also dealing with supply. Right, yes, all those people that died during the panorama, we still have yet. I mean, we haven't replaced them. We're not, you don't just replace people who died immediately. But yes, a lot of people who are no longer in the workforce from a supply chain standpoint, still dealing with that across the entire world, not just here in the United States. People are closely watching, right? The Federal you don't got to closely watch the Federal Reserve. They're raising the rates. They're raising the rates. A series of rate hikes or cuts can significantly impact mortgage rates. Yeah, shout out to the cuts that we'll see when they do that. It'll be nothing like they cut the rates, for 2 or 3 quarters of for a year straight, and we still see interest rates high. That'd be crazy, which would obviously ripple the housing market. Okay, gut feeling is that he is saying we might see a more active fourth quarter than usual, driven by macroeconomic conditions and a backlog of demand. That's true, right? There is pent up demand. There are a lot of people, myself included, on the sidelines that are still saving money. No one could predict, coming out the panorama, like one going into it that the interest rates would be as low, but then we see such the velocity in which the rates have increased as far as, quarter after quarter after quarter. It's been not even 3 years, and we've seen almost triple rate increases. That's insane. And next year, this time, do not be surprised we're over double digits, which would be disgusting. But hey, like we're back in the 80s. All right. And in some cases, decreased overall housing activity can actually benefit diligent house hunters, right, due to decreased competition among buyers. Yes, the fall becomes an opportune time for first-time home buyers to enter the market, says Jessica Lutz, Deputy Chief Economist and Vice President of Research for the NAR. All right, quarter four mortgage rate projections. Here we go. This is what everybody wants to know. What are the interest rates going to be, Cory? What's Bank Rate saying? Mortgage interest rates reached 23-year highs. My goodness. In the third quarter, that's been since 2000, since dot-com bubble. In the third quarter, and most experts don't see that right. No, you don't have to be an expert. It's not going down. We're going to see 8% for the year ends, or at least not drastically. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate will be between 7 and 8% during the 7-8% is a wide range during the fourth quarter, as elevated government debt issuance has driven up bond yields, including mortgage bonds such as McBride. High home prices and high mortgage rates have sidelined many would-be buyers. Almost at the end. Sideline Cory. Many home buyers, with the increase in mortgage rates alone stripping away 37% of buying power. My goodness, almost half. Right, 37 is almost 40, and 40 is almost 50. Just round up 37 to 50. Why don't? That's 37% is a lot. That's over a third since the beginning of last year. So not the beginning of this year, beginning of 2022. So almost 2 years now. We're going almost a 40% buying power decrease. Neither of those variables seems likely to change right anytime soon. True. Okay, and then Shokiv also expects continued high rates. Okay, 30-year benchmark rate averaging around 7.2, and 15-year fixed rates settling in approximately at 6.8, largely based on current economic indicators and Federal Reserve announcements. Here we go about the interest rates. I wish, I'm not scrolling back to people's posts during the panorama, but for people who don't recommend aggressively paying off all of your non-mortgage debt, and they say, pay it off truly based on the interest rate and only aggressively pay off your high interest rates. Well, to my recollection, people during the pandemic were saying high interest rates are essentially anything above 5%, sometimes 6%, but let's just say they were saying 7% and higher, aggressively paid off. They didn't talk about whether it was mortgage debt, non-mortgage debt, whatever it is. They were saying based off strictly off the interest rate. And a lot of people during that time period obviously had mortgage rates that were lower than 7%, 6, 5, right, 4, even 3. But now, as I've been saying this whole time, what are you going to do when interest rates go back up? Now you got to change your talking point from a debt payoff standpoint or your debt payoff strategy. Look, just pay off your mortgage. Don't aggressively pay off your mortgage until you got everything paid off that is in your mortgage, and then you're putting that money into your retirement aggressively. Then when you have stuff left over, that's when you're going to look at paying off your mortgage aggressively. Don't do it at the interest rates this high, that high, and this and that. No, because now you're going to be in a situation where if you follow those principles 2-3 years ago, you would have to be aggressively paying off. Let's just take the median here, $400,000. Let's say put a 3.5% down. 4 times 3 is 12. So let's say you got $380,000 you're going to aggressively pay off, plus all your other debt. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. All right, so got to be careful, when people are saying certain things. And on top of that, we see the interest rates here. Look, you want the lowest interest rate, you go with a 15-year. It's that simple. You're not going to be able to buy as much house, although you probably don't need to buy as much house if you get to 30. That's the other issue. All right. Lutz, however, notes that NAR's most recent economic outlook report anticipates a much lower average rate for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, in quarter four. Let me talk to my son. Got me doing baby talk on here. 6.3%. A much lower average rate for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage in quarter four, 6.3%. There, she thinks it's going to be, or Lutz, I can't remember if it's a man or a woman, it's going to be 6.3%. That prediction holds true. It would be a godsend. Yeah, if mortgage rates for the 30-year are 6.3%, this person has a crystal ball, but that would be insane because that means the 15-year, if the 30-year 6.3, the 15-year is going to be under 6. That'd be crazy. Where home prices and inventory are heading. Inventory is not increasing because we still have the shortage, supply chain issues. So new construction is slow, or not back up. Should I say not slow, but not back up to where it needs to be pre-pandemic. And then home prices are going to continue to increase, and then inventory as well. People aren't selling because why would you? It's hard to justify the mathematics on anybody who has lower than a 3%. If you have less than a 3% interest rate on your mortgage, it's going to be hard to say, yeah, you got to move. Move the math. I mean, your interest rate has to be above 5%, probably where it makes sense for you to move. A 3% increase. Well, that's probably like if you go from 2.5 to 5. I mean, yeah, that's maybe 2%. Maybe your interest rate's got to be 6%. But you kind of just got your house though. See, if you have an interest rate where it makes sense to sell your house where it's not that big of a difference, you just bought your house in the last year and a half. So that is, yeah, inventory is still not where it's not going to be where it needs to be either. Unfortunately for buyers, home prices are going to continue to grow. As I said, don't read these articles ahead of time. Right at the end of the year, though not at a dizzying pace. Again, that depends on the market you live in. But again, the price, well, not the price, but your mortgage payment is dependent on how much you take out for a loan, and then obviously your term, and then what your interest rate is. Those are the three things that determine your mortgage payment. Let's talk about principal and interest here, not taxes and insurance. Even if we don't see an increase, significant one in the value of homes, if the rates still continue to go up as they're going up, that's going to impact the payments even more. Because you can even if, let's just say, rates stay the same, if houses increase, if you just save up, right? Instead of buying a $400,000 house, now that house you want to buy is $500,000, and you want to take out a loan for, you're going to originally take out a loan for $300,000, or you can put $100K down. If you have another $100K, right, to put down towards that $500,000 house, you still get a $300K loan at the exact same interest rate for this example. But if that interest rate continues to increase, it's a lot harder to offset that because then the math, compound interest math, working against you for that interest rate that's increasing. All right, what is it saying? Not at a dizzying pace, 3 to 4%. They're saying 3 to 4% rate increase, but also 3 to 4% increase on over 400,000 median, with interest rates being, well, they predicted over 6. They think 6.3, but interest rates probably going to be over 8. See, this is saying 6.3. I'm thinking interest rates going to be over 8, if not well over 8 by the end of the year. Probably not well because we're at 7.8 right now. We still got to get the half of October in the next 2 months. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, that aligns with the NAR report, which forecasts that by year's end, existing home prices will have increased 3.6%. Okay, so we're saying August is 400. Let's do the math real quick. Was it 414? Let's just call it that. And then they're going to say 3.6, which is almost 15,000. They're saying house is going to be about 430. That's crazy. If we're looking at a median house in the United States of $500,000 with 10% interest rates, it's going to be insane. And the student loan started back up. Boy, It's going to be messy out here. Shout out to the purge. All right, case in point, despite being a month-over-month decline, NAR's most recent median home sale price, oh my bad, 407,000, not 400, not 414, but the 407,000 is the highest median for August that the organization has ever recorded. Okay. Excuse me, the continued housing, whatever, April lunch got me burping and stuff. The continued housing shortage makes market conditions even more challenging as the housing shortage is part of the market. It doesn't make it more challenging. It is part of the market. As limited inventory, right? Okay, fewer options. If you didn't know what that means, it's not a real estate or housing market term. Inventory of home sales, right? Meanwhile, remains well below normal levels. Okay, at about a 2.5 month supply. Geez, 2.5 months. Says Rick Sharga, founder and CEO of CJ Patrick Company. All right, typically this number should be about a 6 month supply. So we're only a third of the way there. Well, 2.5%. So a little over a third of the way there where we need to be at. Combination of, low inventory, as I mentioned, steady demand practically ensures that quarter four will remain a seller's market, but with wage growth now outpacing inflation, Sharga sees potential hope on the horizon. If mortgage rates start to come down, towards the end of the year, beginning of 2024, over time, combination will improve affordability for potential buyers. They're saying we're seeing wage increase outpace inflation. Inflation is down. Compared to last year, it is down. All right. Strategies for home buyers and sellers. I think this is the last section. Yep. All right. Okay. Indeed, saw somebody's name here. Believes. Okay, they're saying things are going to the buyer's favor. Look for a discount in the market. Yeah, don't buy the most expensive house. Right? Don't buy something you can't afford. All right. If you can afford to borrow is such a funny statement because you're borrowing because you personally can't afford whatever you're trying to buy. For those who can afford to borrow at prevailing mortgage rates and carry that higher cost for the next year and a half, they will be able to drive a good bargain in the market on the homes currently listed. All right. Hey, many home builders have big motivation to sell their products and offer significant mortgage buy downs. Here we go. That will help alleviate the current interest rate. So if you're looking to get a home built, a new home, new construction, looks like they got some deals out there for those of y'all who want to do that. Okay, McBride's advice to buyers: be careful outbidding too much and biting off more than you can chew financially in such a high price, low inventory environment. Yeah, don't do what they was doing in the panorama. All right. It's sort of like the market is in the same place as far as inventory, but with the houses cost even more and interest rates are extremely, extremely high. All right, the novelty of new home wears off. Yes, that's true. Your new home eventually becomes a used home once you get in and start using it, just like your vehicle. The novelty, oh my goodness, I was going to say something else. The novelty of the new home wears off. The mortgage payments do not. It's true. All right. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except STDs and children. All right. This isn't the frenzy of the summer market. All right. Excuse me. So take your time, make well-considered decisions. All right. If you're thinking about, listen, your home should be in your favor. Typical seller selling out 20 days. Wow. About 1/3 receive more than asking price. Common receiving 3 offers. But sellers should still take care to be realistic. Yes. You should, whatever your financial situation is, you should already have your numbers before you even go out and, going on, internet, apps now, Zillow, Redfin, no sponsorship. But you should already know what your price range is, regardless if you see the house or not. Don't let seeing the house determine how much you're going to pay for it. Your price range, how much you should have for your mortgage payment is what it is based off your income, your DTI, all these things based on whatever you feel you think you should be in from a financial standpoint. But don't think, oh, I only got 10K to put down. This $600,000 house looks nice, and I make 70K a year, so I'm gonna get that house. That's not how it works. Let alone qualify for that. But that's not how that works. You gotta your budget. Your budget's 400K. You stick in that budget. Houses over 400K, they're not for you. All right, but that's it, y'all. Let me see. Yep, see, this is a quick one, under 30 minutes. That's what she said. Right, under 30 minutes. We're talking about the housing market. Just get a poll what's going on at the beginning of the quarter, so we can see what predictions are before this quarter really gets in the swing of things. Oh, I forgot to quote who it was again for this one. Again, this is by Eric J. Martin and edited by Michelle Petrie. 2023 fourth quarter housing trends, slow sales, high rates, and prices. Again, by Bankrate. At the end of the day, the recommendation over here is when you get your mortgage, if you're renting right now, so you don't have a mortgage, have your emergency fund saved up and no debt. I know a lot of you, especially with these student loans starting back up, it's going to be hard for you to make that decision. You make your decision how you want to make it. But as we see these numbers pop up, and when people, when we get to the Bankrate article, we talk about how many people, have $1,000 saved or can afford a $500 emergency, whichever one they do, and it's nobody, it kind of is what it is. At some point in time, you have to accept what the higher percentage chance decisions are from a financial standpoint that increase your financial stability or wealth building, whatever you want to use from a financial progress standpoint, a good term. And you got to accept which ones have a higher risk, right? Risk and reward at the end of the day. All right. Excuse me. But that's it, y'all. Locked and loaded. End of the episode. Make sure you hit that like button, share and subscribe. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating and reviews on the podcast platforms as well. I'm about to start editing. Let me not say I'm about to start editing videos, but I'm going to, start doing that at some point in time. If you listen to this whole thing, you've got to leave a comment. Please leave a comment, hit that like button, and tell somebody about this episode and the Cory in Full Effect YouTube channel or the podcast, whichever one. People probably, I don't know. Y'all listen how y'all want to listen to it, all right? If you have any comments as far as what y'all want us to talk about, please let us know. Leave a comment, DM us, contact us, however you feel fit. All right. Again, shout out to the student loans. I'm excited to see the articles that show how bad things have gotten because y'all decided not to listen and start making your payments and pay down your debt. All right. And for those of y'all that, have more debt because you didn't, use your student loan payment during the forbearance toward the student loans, you instead used it to go take out more debt. All right. Again, these bad decisions. Shout out to the housing market. It's getting crazy out here. All right. But that's it, y'all. Again, remember to save more, say less, keep making better your best. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.